when it comes to sport and even other things, we can apply these to whatever we're doing. When it comes to sport in particular, though, there's a few things that we know that we have full control over, and everything else is kind of dependent on. We have a little bit of control over it, but not full absolute control over a lot of things within sport. So if we remember the three things, the first is, and I think this is really important, is we have full control over our focus and our attention. And when we work on the skills that we work on here in terms of mindfulness and practicing and training focus and attention, we start to understand that we actually do have more of a choice of where our focus and where our attention is, and the type of energy that we're giving to certain thinking or certain actions or certain ways of behaving. We actually start to learn and realize that there is a choice and a choice point in our attention and where it is. So focus and attention is a choice, and it's something that we have full control over. And when we're moving through any type of situation within sport, within school, academics, within eventually moving into a career, this is very, very helpful in terms of our ability to focus on the task at hand. And it doesn't matter what we're doing, that's where our potential lies, is when we are fully in that zone of being with that environment, focusing on the task at hand, and ensuring that we're fully engaged with what we're doing. And like I said, that's what we are learning with focus and attention when we practice the skills we practice in these sessions. So that's number one. And when quite often when we are when we choose to be engaged with our environment and where we're at and all the things going on in the environment, quite often that will lead to our inner knowing, our intuition, what we've learned over the years. And many of you are still young and have a lot more experience to gain, but all your experience up until that point, your ability to be at your best, when you actively choose to engage fully with that environment, then your natural intuition and inner knowing and know-how and ability is more likely to be there for you when you're engaged with that environment. So that's number one, control over focus and attention. Number two is our work ethic, and the ability to be relentless in our work ethic, the ability to go all in. That is a choice, and we have to be able to make that choice even when it feels difficult, even when it feels challenging. We show up in those moments, and we put in that relentless work ethic. It's it's something that is very comforting and empowering to know, especially in sport, and of course in other things as well. But in hockey, to know that all you have to do is in each and every moment work your absolute hardest and be relentless. It's empowering, because quite often, if that's the case, and you combine that with paying attention and focusing on the task at hand, you can live with any end result, because you can look back and say there was nothing else I could have done in each and every moment. And you'll still make mistakes, but knowing that you made that choice and made that commitment to those things is empowering, and you'll be able to live with the end results, and quite often be happy regardless of what happens. And so, making those choices and committing to that is very empowering. So number 2 is a relentless work ethic. And then number 3 is the type of attitude that we approach each and every day. And our attitude is also a choice, and how we show up to the various things that we're doing, whether that's hockey, school, whatever it may be. Developing this growth mindset attitude that every experience is providing us with something, even the experiences that may feel as if they're not, even the experiences that feel challenging and that make us feel uncomfortable or vulnerable. Looking for the opportunities, moving towards that challenge, and understanding that when we approach with an optimistic attitude and look for the opportunities and embrace feeling uncomfortable, we know that uncomfortable feeling is going to lead to some form of growth in terms of our skill, our ability, our know-how, our character strength. Moving through that uncomfortable feeling is going to provide something as we navigate that. So really embracing that, and that's something I can't stress enough. It's something that takes a little practice, and it takes some experience to try it. And but once you do, you start to get excited for uncomfortable feelings. You start to get pumped, because either you're going to rise to the challenge, or there's going to be an opportunity in the end. So you start to look for more challenge. You start to look for those opportunities and seek that out. So, and this is in line with a lot of research in terms of sports psychology when they look at elite athletes at any age or any sport. In particular, there's one study I saw a few years ago, was looking at Olympic athletes, and they're constantly looking for more ways to add obstacles to their training, more ways to make them feel uncomfortable within their training, because they know that it's going to push them to see what they're capable of. So, developing that optimistic attitude, that growth mindset, that no matter what the experience, it's going to provide value. The times that we move through an experience that are successful for us, where we overcome challenge, they of course give us that feedback that we're on the right track, and it feels good. And then when things aren't going as well, and there's challenge or vulnerability, we know that also is going to lead to our inner knowing, our skill, our ability, a character trait. So both very good things. And in that attitude, that approach is within our control and in our choice, how we approach things. So those are the three main areas that we have full control over. And if we can commit to those regularly, then confidence becomes more of a choice. Confidence becomes more of actions rather than based off of a feeling. based off of when we do well, we feel confident. When we don't do well, we don't feel confident. So, and then, it doesn't matter what the end result is, we can still commit to those three things, and that leads to that consistency. So, and it ties into other things that we've talked about as well. Resilience, our ability to navigate the ups and downs, no matter what, committing to those things. Now, on the flip side, we've got things that are out of our control. We can't control other people. We can't control our friends, what our family does. We can't control what our coach does. We can't control what our teammates do. We can be a positive influence within those relationships by choosing and being committed to the three things that I just touched on. And you don't even have to talk about it. If you commit to those things, it'll rub off on people in a positive way, and it'll send a message to others. And so in a sense, when you commit to those things, you're becoming a leader, a silent leader. And it's something that I've seen present in many of the best leaders that I've played with in hockey. All these traits, the Sidney Crosbys, the Ovechkins, everyone that I played with at that level. Those guys had these characteristics, these traits, and they made those choices. So, we can learn from those players in many different ways, not only what they do on the ice, but their approach and their intangible skills. So that's how you build consistent confidence, and you apply that to your experiences. And sometimes it'll feel less natural than others. That's part of it. We stick with it. We keep applying it. And over time, we start to notice and learn and get more experience with applying those three things. And the more we apply them, the more empowered we feel, because we start to see what actually comes of it when we do apply those choices and commit fully to what we have full control over.